What's something that is romantic in movies but creepy in real life? Stopping weddings. I attended a wedding in a city hall. The mayor said he's never heard someone say no, but he has already seen people who tried to stop weddings. She got ejected quickly, but it never affected the ceremony. I can't imagine that it didn't affect it whatsoever. Sure, they probably proceeded like normal, but surely the mood was off? Possible the family or other parties see the offender before the bridegroom. E.g., seeing an ex-boyfriend walking up to the venue. You'd probably ask them what's up. Not taking no for an answer. I hate when some dude in a movie keeps chasing after the girl to convince her that they're meant to be together. Bonus hate points if he ruins a wedding or something to do it. I also hate when women in movies conspire to manipulate a man into falling in love. It's not cute. Yay, I hate it when in TV shows the son will have issues with asking out a girl, so he goes to the dad and the dad says something like, "Don't take no for an answer. I had to ask your mother out X amount of times till she finally gave me a chance." I know that sounds hella specific, but I swear I've heard it in 1,000 different shows. You definitely have, specific as it is. It's such a weird trope. These days we call them stalkers, not continuing the illusion that it's some grand and sweet gesture to follow her around, harassing her to duck you until she gives up, like a predator wearing down prey in the long hunt. Pepe Le Pew has entered the chat. Stopping someone's wedding and asking them to be with you. Really? You couldn't shoot your shot before the wedding? It's not a surprise event. You're really going to embarrass everyone involved and destroy their wedding day when you could have just showed up last Wednesday? Or ditching your wedding at the last minute for someone you only met once. Looking at you, serendipity. There was a Ben Affleck-Sandra Bullock movie in the 90s that I loved, because Affleck is trying to get to his wedding and, due to a comedy of errors, falls in with Sandra Bullock on a crazy cross-country trip full of shenanigans. Of course, he gets there and goes in to tell his wife that the wedding is off and he's in love with Bullock. But then, he sees her, remembers why he loves her, and goes through with the wedding. At the time, I thought it was a bullshit ending. In retrospect, I love it, because it makes so much more sense, and it totally subverts the Hollywood trope. Forces of nature. I don't like nor remember practically any rom-com type movies, but as soon as I read this thread, it was the first one I thought of. Saw it as a teenager bored watching HBO, and I remember the ending surprising me due to how against the Hollywood marriage trope it was. A not great movie with a great ending. Bumping into the same person over and over again. Edit. Whoa. Thanks for the awards and all the comments. Never had this happen before, lol. Casually stalking who they're pursuing. Especially if they're a police officer or FBI agent and they just casually look up their interest in the database. Pursuing someone who is already in a relationship. Hitting on a client or customer. In movies, the employee who does that is often charming and good looking, and it is reciprocated. In real life, it is a fast way to get fired. Lol, this reminds me of a post on Retails from the customer I saw the other day where a guy claimed a waitress hit on him by wiggling and pouting. His exact words. I'm guessing it was a fake story because the guy seemed not all there mentally. Edit. The post is here if anyone wants to read it. Guy sounds like a troll, to be honest. Edit number 2. Sorry guys, it's been deleted. You can still read it here though. She was probably just being friendly and smiled at him while taking his order. A normal human thing to do. Those elaborate plots that trick the other person into falling for you. How do you even trick a person to fall for you? If they're not into you, that's never going to work, yet in movies it always does. And the trick part implies it's lying to or forcing the other person. How is that in any way a healthy base for a relationship of any kind? This isn't a movie, but I always think of the Tumblr post where you give someone their favorite candy every time you see them and then they're Pavlov's dog D into liking you. Edit. Please stop telling me I mean conditioned. I know what conditioned means. The post mentioned Pavlov's dog, so that's why I said it. Edit 2. I spelled Pavlov wrong in my edit. So you basically just start to value them. Obsessive and unrequited love, sometimes spanning years, that ultimately succeeds because the less interested party gets worn down and realizes they're a big dummy and they love them after all. Edit. Rip my inbox. Good thing I have nothing better to do this week, so I'm reading all your replies. I'm seeing a lot of this worked out for me, I'm sure it did. Not everyone meets and falls in love on the same schedule, and sometimes it's all in the timing. I'm happy so many of y'all found an amazing person to spend your lives with. Maybe you're the exceptions and not the rule. Maybe I'm bitter no one's obsessed with me, JK. That being said, I think being deluded and obsessed with someone where you've built them up in your head and have an idealized version of who they are is unhealthy. You don't want to be Harold from the stand lol. Also, PS tie for the awards. I know acknowledging them is lame, but my good manners never allow me to ignore it. It's super weird, but apparently it does happen. My GF was in a wedding for two people like this. The guy was obsessed with the girl in high school, but she never gave him the time of day. They stayed friends in college. She started developing feelings for him that sort of cascaded into her obsessing over him, but he had been friend-zoned so long that he didn't notice any of the hints. Now they're married and still completely obsessed with each other. Pitch it to the major networks. Didn't you know that's half the movies already on the Hallmark Channel or Lifetime? Lifetime Christmas movie, woman magically finds the love of her life just before Christmas. Lifetime the rest of the year movie, woman narrowly avoids being brutally raped and murdered just before the end of the movie. Breaking through airport security to profess your love. Have fun getting tased and sent to prison, jackass. Stealing their baby brother and taking them to the castle at the center of the labyrinth to eventually turn them into a goblin. Therapists dating or having sex with their patients. Oh, but they have such a deep connection. No, that's a malpractice lawsuit in the making. All I can think of is Lucifer, but this isn't the only creepy thing in that show. Edit, why is this gaining many replies? Not that I would say no to replies. Robin dating her therapist in him. That was short-lived and unnecessary. I think they stopped therapy for that to work. Would this still be allowed, Earl? In Australia there's a waiting period of several years before psychologists can date former patients and psychiatrists never can. I imagine the US is similar, though I can't say for sure. An overdramatic proposal in front of a bunch of strangers. There was a scene in Love, Simon where one of Simon's best friends is subject to a public proposal in front of the entire school, and she then has to suffer the horror of publicly turning him down because she doesn't like him in that way. I sunk down in my chair in the cinema and had to look away. Super cringe, but at least they actually showed how that would play out realistically. I had a guy ask me out in front of a third of the school before, one of the 3 lunch blocks, with a huge sign that took multiple people to hold. I cried, which he mistook as happy tears and assumed we were dating now. I had to super awkwardly let him down once we were alone. I can totally relate. In 6th grade, one boy enlisted the whole class to ask me to be his girlfriend, which I said no, because I was more scared of my mom, who had made it clear, no dating before 16, than I was of being ostracized. They tried for 2 weeks and by the end realized how strict my mom was, and I was never asked out again all through my school years. What are you going to do? Someone coming home and finding their entire apartment full of flowers when the sender obviously had no legal way to get in. Extremely old vampires dating 16-year-olds. What We Do in the Shadows, the movie, has a great spin on this one. He's dating a much younger woman. She's in her 80s. Literally everything in the 50 Shades movies. AKA every misconception possible about BDSM, but dressed up for horny middle-aged housewives. If 50 Shades was set on a trailer park, it would be an episode of Criminal Minds. 50 Shades is to BDSM as Game of Thrones is to wedding planning. When couples are fake dating and trying to convince their family, then the family forces them to kiss in front of everyone to prove their love. No family would ever do this in real life, it's ducking weird. Like, please, make out in front of Nana and your Uncle Ken. Oh buddy. Where I grew up, Hispanic culture, if a boy and girl had any reason, simmering someone would chant, Bessie beso beso until everyone joined in. Beso beso beso. Lol, yeah, this. I even named my, now 15.5-year-old, dog Bessie Besame, BC. She would not stop giving kisses the entire ride home when she was rescued on the freeway.